The Harry Potter movies are some of the most beloved movies of our generation. They are full of magic and amazing characters. Many children grew up with Harry, Ron, and Hermione. We've seen 8 beautiful pictures that we'll never get tired of revisiting. But as you can guess, a franchise like Harry Potter with a bunch of inexperienced child actors on set had a lot of behind-the-scenes stories. Director Steven Spielberg. First, we'd like to tell you about the director who almost directed the first installment of Potter. We all know that Chris Columbus was the director responsible for the first 2 movies. But did you know that he wasn't the only option Warner Brothers Studios had? One of the directors they wanted to bring into work on the first installment was none other than Steven Spielberg himself. He was interested in working on the movie and had time to develop some concepts, even played with the animation a bit. Realizing that Potter will already be a hit, the director wanted to solve the problem more difficult, so he abandoned this project to finish the film Artificial Intelligence. Dentures. And here's an interesting detail that will definitely amuse you. In the early movies, and actors were just kids. Daniel Radcliffe said that during filming, all the children had to make casts of their teeth. This was necessary in case one of them accidentally loses a tooth or milk tooth unexpectedly falls out. I wonder if any of the child actors had to use dentures on the set after all. We want answers. Actress feuds? The fact that many actors are recognized and respected people doesn't mean they all get along with each other. On the set of Harry Potter, there was some tension between Helena Bonham Carter, who played Bellatrix Lestrange, and Emma Thompson, who played Sybill Trelawney. The reason for this started back in the 90s when Thompson was married to director Kenneth Branagh. They divorced after his affair with Carter came to light. But thankfully, both of these actresses are so highly professional that no animosity was evident on set. Thompson even alluded to the fact that they had actually called a truce. It was very important for both actresses to maintain professionalism on the job. We, for one, are not sure we could have followed their example in a similar situation. 17,000 sticks. And now we're going to share some fun details about the amazing work of the props department. This team of professionals created a huge number of handmade items specifically for the shoot. Many of them you didn't even know about. In all episodes, Daniel Radcliffe used a total of 160 pairs of glasses, as well as about 65 different magic wands. The prop department made 17,000 boxes of wands for Ollivander's store, each one hand-signed. Each vial of Dumbledore's memories was also hand-signed. They also used 14 Ford cars and 250 body casts for various scenes, including the State of Stunning. Snape and Harry Potter battle. Even though J.K. Rowling was not the screenwriter of the Harry Potter movies, she was still able to change some details of the script that she thought were important. As the author of these amazing books, she was very protective of her characters, sometimes even overly so. One such moment was the battle between Professor Snape and Professor McGonagall in Part 8. In the script, it should have been Snape and Harry. Given the bond between Snape and Lily, it would have been quite touching. However, Rowling was adamant. She insisted that it had to be McGonagall. The writer felt that a character like Professor McGonagall should be given more screen time, and this particular moment was perfect for her to prove herself. Do you agree with Joan? Let us know in the comments. Crabbe is a criminal. Have you ever wondered why Crabbe suddenly disappeared from the franchise in later films? Jamie Waylett played the role of Vincent Crabbe in every Harry Potter movie up until the 6th installment, Half-Blood Prince. But he was no longer in Deathly Hallows. The character Crabbe was replaced by Blaise. Blaise was in the book, but he wasn't one of Malfoy's buddies, meaning he wasn't in the room of requirement when it burned. Jamie Waylett was unable to return to the movie as he was arrested for possession and cultivation of marijuana. The actor was also arrested again in 2011 for looting during the London riots. Emma Watson didn't show up for her audition. We're so used to Daniel Radcliffe being Harry Potter, Rupert Grint being Ron, and Emma Watson being Hermione that we can't imagine anyone else in their place. However, we could have gotten a completely different Hermione. To scout out young, unknown talent to star in Harry Potter, the casting department traveled to countless English schools, holding auditions for students. When they arrived at Emma Watson's school, she did not attend the audition despite the fact that the rest of her classmates participated. She simply wasn't interested in participating in this movie. Luckily, her teacher convinced her otherwise, and Emma was the last one to show up for that audition after all. So, we have Emma Watson's teacher to thank for our beloved Hermione. -1 scene in the credits. We're sure you've heard of one rather interesting passphrase in the end credits of Prisoner of Azkaban. At the very end, you can see footprints moving across the Marauders map, and if you look closely, you'll notice something rather odd. There you can see the students facing each other with one pair of legs spread apart and the other standing between them. This arrangement made many people think of the most lewd thing. However, Raz Faziraj, who created these end credits, immediately put an end to these rumors. He stated that according to his idea, it was just the students hugging and nothing more. However, director Alfonso Cuarón liked this moment very much and decided to keep it, so to speak, for adults. Real mailmen? It's amazing that filmmakers these days can do a lot of digital effects with computer graphics that go simply unnoticed because they fit very seamlessly into the movie. However, there was one moment that could very well be considered computer graphics, even though it wasn't. At the time when the first Harry Potter movies were filmed, it didn't seem easy to make the owls deliver mail. However, that didn't stop the movie crew. Just for this movie alone, they trained owls to deliver mail, just like they normally do with ravens. In addition, even the letters that the owls delivered were handwritten, not typed on a computer. Harry's blue eyes. Aside from his recognizable glasses, disheveled hair, and lightning bolt scar on his forehead, Harry's biggest distinguishing feature is his eyes. People constantly tell him that he has his mother's eyes. In the books, everyone said Harry's eyes were green like lilies, and the filmmakers really tried to incorporate that aspect of the book into the movie. Except it turns out that Daniel Radcliffe is allergic to contact lenses. So Chris Columbus decided to keep Radcliffe's blue eyes in the movie. Luckily, actress Geraldine Somerville, who played Lily Potter, also has blue eyes, which provided continuity between the characters. It would be very strange if one of them had blue eyes and the other had green eyes, wouldn't it? A real library with a forbidden section. In the first Harry Potter movie, the scenes in the forbidden section were filmed in the Duke of Humfrey's library. And if you're wondering where that is, it's the oldest reading room in the Bodleian Library at Oxford University. This library was founded in 1602, which means that the books there are very old indeed. One can only imagine how the library staff felt when the little wizards came there with torches. Despite this, the library was still allowed to film Harry Potter and to use open flames within its walls. This was the first time in centuries that fire was allowed to be used in a library. Fortunately, no books or scrolls were harmed. Joanne Rowling is the mother of Harry Potter. As you know, throughout all parts of the movie, the role of Harry's mother, Lily Potter, was played by Geraldine Somerville. However, she was not the first actress to be offered the role. Want to know who was originally supposed to play Lily Potter? We'll give you a clue. She's a writer. That's right. It was Joanne Rowling who was originally asked to play Harry's mom, which would have been pretty funny considering that in a way, she is his mom, his creator. In the end, the writer decided to drop the idea, perhaps because it would have looked contrived and would have broken the whole illusion. Although one can't help but admit that she would have been perfect for the role of Lily Potter. Harry had been drinking. Now let's remember one not-so-funny moment that happened to Daniel Radcliffe. Being an actor at such a young age is very challenging, especially when you're the lead actor of such a famous franchise like Harry Potter, and that in itself put a lot of pressure on Radcliffe. He was constantly in the spotlight, especially after a few Potter movies. Whenever he appeared anywhere or did anything, he was considered to grown up and the tabloids just went crazy. All of this put so much pressure on the young actor that at times he showed up on set drunk. Of course, we do not know how serious things were, but fortunately, he was not fired from the picture. Bellatrix Lestrange hurt Neville's ear. You know what the most amazing thing about Helena Bonham Carter? It's that she does everything she can to completely transform herself into the character she's playing, to literally become them, no matter who that character is. When it came time to play Bellatrix Lestrange, the actress got a little carried away, causing young actor Matthew Lewis, better known as Neville Dolgopups, to suffer. In the fifth movie, when she threatened Neville, she accidentally damaged his eardrum with her wand. The actress was waving her wand around, and the moment Lewis changed position, it entered his ear a few centimeters. As a result, his eardrum was damaged. The actor told Carter about the incident only a few days later. Apparently, he was also afraid of Bellatrix Lestrange. Where did Roland Hooch go? So, what happened to Madame Roland Hooch? She was Harry's school coach in the first movie, as well as the referee at the Quidditch match between Gryffindor and Slytherin. Unlike the movies, the character appears over and over again in the books. However, when it came time for the movie adaptation, things were a little different. knowing that they would have to bring in actress Zoe Wanamaker again for the second movie, since her character was appearing there more and more often. Warner Studios decided that the character was not important in the plot of the movie. So they decided to save some money by completely excluding her from the narrative, even though she is introduced in the books. Did you miss Madame Hooch in the following movies or even notice her absence? Write us about it in the comments. Theft of props. As we mentioned, the props department did a tremendous job on the set of Harry Potter. They made countless handmade items. At some point, things got a little too real. In the first movie, after Dumbledore gives his speech, countless amounts of food magically appear on the tables. Director Chris Columbus insisted that all of this food shown in the Great Hall was real. However, due to the hot lamps and the large number of takes, the food began to spoil and smell bad. In subsequent films, the food was already either frozen or fake. Although many of the young actors probably had no idea how long this film would become, the adult actors were well aware. So it's no surprise that some of them wanted to grab themselves a few souvenirs from the set. When we say take, we of course mean steal. In an interview, Jason Isaacs stated that Alan Rickman was an absolute pro at stealing props from the set. Even without starring in this particular scene, Rickman managed to steal a bunch of coins from the vault of Gringotts Bank. This inspired Isaacs to steal props. He decided to steal an issue of the Daily Prophet, except he was caught by one of the employees on set and told that director David Yates asked for the props back. Yeah, that's an awkward situation. Severus Snape's ruined BMW interior. Remembering Rickman's shenanigans, let us tell you a funny story that happened to him on set. At the time of filming Order of the Phoenix, Rickman had a very nice car, more specifically BMW. Before that, he had another car in which once were Matthew Lewis and Rupert Grint. They spilled a milkshake in the interior of the car. When Rickman came to work in his new BMW, he forbade the couple to come within 5 meters of his car. We know that Severus Snape is not to be trifled with, so no one else spilled milkshakes in his car. Malfoy Improv. Improvisations and dialogues are always fun. Sometimes they are much more successful and memorable than the lines written in the script. This, of course, doesn't always come out well for young and inexperienced actors compared to veteran filmmakers. However, Tom Felton has proven that this is not entirely true. During the filming of Chamber of Secrets, in the scene where Harry uses a werewolf potion to turn into Goyle, when asked by Malfoy why Goyle was wearing glasses, Harry noted that he was reading. Here Felton gave out a totally impromptu retort, saying he didn't know Goyle could read. This stiff but hilarious quip was, in our opinion, one of the best improvisations in the movie. Hugh Grant, Goldilocks Locans? Kenneth Branagh was cast as Goldilocks in the second movie, but did you know he wasn't the studio's first choice for the role? Be that as it may, we think he did well in the role. So it's surprising that the studio initially considered other actors. Who was originally supposed to play this charismatic defense against the dark arts professor? It could have been Hugh Grant. Can you believe it? He was the first person cast for the role, but had to leave due to a work schedule mismatch. Jude Law as Dumbledore. Another contender, this time for the role of Dumbledore, was none other than Jude Law. However, at the time he looked too young to play the headmaster of Hogwarts. Later, he was still taken on this role, but already in Fantastic Beasts. School uniforms? In the first Harry Potter movies, students wore their robes at Hogwarts all year round, but that all changed when Alfonso Cuarón became the director. He decided to make a number of changes given that things were getting a little darker and more serious in Prisoner of Azkaban. The director wanted the children to wear clothes that reflected their personalities. When the students had to wear their school uniforms again, the director asked them to change it a bit. That's why some students looked neat and tidy, while others had their shirts untucked and their ties untied. It looked more realistic. Lice on set. What were you more afraid of in school than chicken pox? If you immediately thought of lice, you'll know what we're about to talk about. Despite being a movie set and not a real school, Hogwarts had the same problems. Because of so many children in a confined space during the filming of Chamber of Secrets, there was an outbreak of lice infestation on the set, which appeared not only in the children, but even in some adults. This epidemic spread so much that they had to suspend filming and check all the workers on set to deal with the parasites. How this all could have happened is still unknown, although we have a couple of guesses. Dudley almost lost his role due to weight loss. Despite the fact that this character had little importance compared to the main characters, Dudley continued to appear periodically to torment Harry. However, the actor playing the role, Harry Melling, almost lost it completely. Somewhere between Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, the actor had noticeably lost weight and no longer fit the image of Dudley. Instead of cutting him out of the movie or passing the role on to someone else, he was forced to wear special makeup and costume in subsequent movies. Matching actors. Want to see if our favorite trio of actors cast as Harry, Ron, and Hermione are perfect for their roles? We're about to tell a story. While working on The Prisoner of Azkaban, Alfonso Cuarón asked each of the 3 actors to write an essay about their characters to better understand them. What followed was a true reflection of the characters these young actors were cast to play. Emma Watson wrote a 16-page essay on Hermione. Daniel Radcliffe gave out a 1-page, detailed analysis of who Harry Potter is. Rupert Grint, on the other hand, didn't even lift a finger, stating that Ron probably would have done the same. This pretty much explains why, in the books, he's always cheating homework from others. Sometimes slacking off can be the right thing to do. British actors instead of American actors. When we think of the Harry Potter books and all that magic, we inevitably think of the UK. Apparently, Warner Studios didn't quite realize this when they tried to recruit American actors in the early stages of this project. One of the studio's favorites for the role of Hagrid was the late Robin Williams. Chris Columbus also considered Liam Aiken for the role of Harry Potter. Fortunately, Joanne Rowling intervened, stating that the cast had to be exclusively British to reflect her books. She got her way, and the entire cast was made up of Brits, with the exception of the late Vernon Troyer, who played the goblin Hookwolf in the first movie and was later voiced by Warwick Davis.